December 1944, Bastogne, Belgium. Snow-pressed roads as Allied advances slowed while winter hardened steel and expectations. Everywhere. High command anticipated cautious progress, believing exhausted formations required rest supply consolidation before renewed pressure eastward across fronts. Frontline reports described mud misery, yet momentum persisted through determination forged by months' relentless campaigning amid European winter. Eisenhower toured forward areas cautiously, expecting formal escorts, polished uniforms, and predictable meetings with commanders along prepared routes. Instead, a muddy figure halted traffic, wearing anonymity, confidence, and fatigue earned under fire during weeks' continuous combat. No insignia marked authority. Boots, soaked coat, dulled voice steady despite nearby danger from artillery bursts ahead nearby. A brief exchange followed, revealing candor, awareness, and questions uncommon among senior leaders during active frontline conditions there. Recognition dawned suddenly. Eisenhower realized the soldier blocking passage commanded entire armies across multiple theaters during critical moments. George Smith Patton deliberately discarded rank display, seeking truth, speed, and survivability among infantry positions during volatile operations. By blending with soldiers, he avoided snipers, gathered unfiltered intelligence, and inspired trust through shared hardship daily there. Patton appeared unexpectedly at foxholes, roads, bridges, and bivouacs across Europe during campaigns demanding constant movement under fire. Such presence collapsed distance between command intent and battlefield reality for every participant involved during tense operations then. Soldiers spoke freely to anonymity, sharing obstacles, fears, and opportunities without performance pressures common around. Decorated officers present. Decisions improved accordingly. Routes chosen, supply prioritized, and momentum preserved despite weather, enemy interference, and limited resources available. Third Army benefited directly, accelerating responses, exploiting gaps, maintaining operational rhythm across fluid fronts through winter fighting conditions. Method rejected distance, embracing proximity, risk, and leadership by example during volatile encounters near enemy positions often. Critics worried recklessness, yet results demonstrated cohesion, speed, and resilience among formations operating under intense pressure daily thereafter. Eisenhower understood the lesson. Authority sometimes advances best disguised within mud, noise, danger, and shared burden alongside troops. Leadership credibility grew through presence, not ceremony, slogans, or distance during extended campaigns demanding trust, endurance, initiative. Always. This encounter symbolized a philosophy, shaping tempo, morale, and loyalty across ranks, units, formations throughout European theaters then. Speed followed trust, because informed decisions traveled faster than orders within fluid situations faced by mobile armies. Constantly, Patton led from mud, sharing danger, shaping outcomes with authenticity during critical moments when uncertainty dominated command decisions. The war remembered victories, yet this moment explained their origin through human connection, presence, courage, and attention forward generations. Later the image endures, a general unseen yet everywhere within muddy roads, foxholes, bridges, lines, and memories. Legacy measured leadership cost, reminding history progress follows those walking forward beside soldiers sharing risk, truth, burden always. Patton deliberately stripped visible rank during frontline visits, favoring worn jackets, scarves, and unpolished helmets that blended with infantry surroundings. This disguise reduced sniper attention, enabled candid conversations, and allowed rapid movement along roads, foxholes, and bridges without ceremony during combat days. Uniform austerity was intentional. Patton believed authority communicated better through proximity, competence, and decisiveness than polished symbols. Across winter fronts. By minimizing spectacle, he slipped past expectations, gathering truths inaccessible to commanders surrounded by escorts. Protocols and deference daily under fire. Patton studied enemy habits, terrain, morale, and logistics firsthand, believing observation under fire surpassed reports, filtered through headquarters, often decisively. Disguise permitted lingering near guns, roadblocks, and aid stations where soldiers spoke plainly about shortages, fatigue, and opportunity during brutal winters. Risk acceptance defined the method. Patton judged information gained outweighed dangers posed by artillery, snipers, and sudden counterattacks. Nearby forward sectors. He limited entourage intentionally, avoiding patterns, vehicles, and signals that advertised senior presence to enemy observers across contested lines daily. The disguise also accelerated decisions. Patton validated assumptions immediately, then issued concise guidance aligning movement, supply, and fires under pressure. Constantly. Such immediacy contrasted staff routines, reducing delays while preserving intent across rapidly changing tactical situations during winter operations there. Soldiers rarely recognized him initially, encountering a blunt, inquisitive presence sharing rations, jokes, and warnings near fighting positions nightly. Often. Only later revelations transformed memory, strengthening loyalty because authenticity preceded authority, rather than followed introductions amid danger continuously under fire zones. Patton's anonymity countered stereotypes, revealing a commander focused on outcomes, learning, and shared risk during active operations forward. Constantly lines there. This posture encouraged candor upward, correcting intelligence biases and highlighting obstacles invisible from rear echelons under winter stress conditions. Avoiding insignia also mitigated coalition sensitivities, allowing Patton to assess allied formations without rank-driven theatrics during joint advances. Daily. Observations informed coordination choices, smoothing boundaries, accelerating handoffs, and preventing misunderstandings amid complex multinational operations across Europe theaters. Then widely critics labeled recklessness. Yet casualty avoidance often improved when leaders grasped terrain, timing, and morale directly at fronts. Quickly under fire, Patton's presence compressed feedback loops, enabling rapid corrections before small errors cascaded into failures during pursuit phases continuously there. The approach demanded stamina, humility, and nerve, qualities Patton cultivated through relentless personal exposure across contested fronts daily. Again under fire, disguise became discipline, a tool ensuring leadership remained grounded within consequences experienced by ordinary soldiers during winter fighting seasons. Operational speed benefited indirectly, because truthful reports shortened deliberations and aligned actions with battlefield realities. Across mobile campaigns then forward, Patton's disguise thus served movement, turning presence into propulsion without additional vehicles or orders during pursuits there constantly under fire. This method demanded trust upward, downward, and sideways, reshaping relationships across rank, services, and allies during intensive operations forward lines daily. By shedding symbols, Patton amplified substance, proving leadership often advances best unseen yet fully present amid danger always there. Patton believed truth lived closest to danger. Therefore proximity mattered more than polished briefings prepared far behind lines. By standing beside soldiers, he absorbed reality unfiltered, hearing frustration, fear, ingenuity, and opportunities spoken plainly without restraint. Frontline proximity dissolved performance. Soldiers stopped rehearsing answers and instead described broken tracks, missing fuel, stubborn resistance, or sudden openings. Candid exchanges provided Patton with operational clarity unavailable through reports shaped by hierarchy, optimism, or caution within headquarters routines. Patton listened more than he spoke, encouraging detail while observing body language, terrain conditions, and enemy reactions. Simultaneously, this multisensory awareness sharpened judgment, enabling faster decisions grounded in lived experience rather than delayed abstraction. Proximity revealed morale fluctuations instantly, allowing Patton to sense exhaustion, confidence, or hesitation before metrics reflected changes. Such awareness informed tempo decisions, determining when to push harder or pause briefly to preserve momentum sustainably. Junior soldiers offered tactical insights, identifying passable roads, hidden crossings, or enemy habits overlooked by aerial reconnaissance. Patton valued these observations, integrating them quickly into movement plans without bureaucratic delay. Unfiltered truth also exposed leadership failures, supply bottlenecks, communication gaps, and unrealistic expectations imposed by distant planners. Addressed issues immediately, redirecting resources or adjusting objectives before problems escalated into crises. This approach bypassed confirmation bias because proximity forced confrontation with inconvenient facts, contradicting optimistic projections. Patton welcomed discomfort, believing uncomfortable truths prevented catastrophic surprises during rapid operations. Hearing truth firsthand fostered mutual respect. Soldiers recognized their voices influenced outcomes rather than disappearing into paperwork. That recognition strengthened trust, motivating units to endure hardship, knowing leadership understood conditions personally. Proximity also enhanced security. Patton detected enemy activity patterns through casual remarks often dismissed as anecdotes. Such intelligence refined anticipation, enabling preemptive action against ambush counterattacks or logistical disruptions. Critics underestimated this method, Mistaking informality for lack of discipline or structure. In reality, proximity functioned as an intelligence system, compressing observation, analysis, and execution into a single continuous loop. Patton's habit reshaped command culture, signaling that honesty mattered more than presentation rank or protocol. This cultural shift encouraged initiative, as soldiers trusted that realities would be heard rather than punished. Operational speed benefited, because truthful information reduced friction, misallocation, and hesitation across formations. Decisions, aligned with ground truth, traveled faster than orders filtered through layers of interpretation. Proximity demanded courage. Standing exposed beside troops invited the same dangers they faced daily. Patton accepted this risk, believing leadership credibility required shared vulnerability. Hearing truth unfiltered thus became decisive, transforming information into momentum and trust into velocity. Through proximity, Patton converted voices from the mud into strategic advantage, shaping campaigns decisively. Leadership under fire defined Patton's presence, because danger stripped rhetoric, leaving only behavior visible to watching soldiers nearby. Trenches always. Mud explosions, cold, and fear became shared currency, forging trust faster than speeches, orders, or distant commendations ever could there then. Soldiers judged leaders by proximity, noticing who shared shellfire, fatigue, hunger, and uncertainty during chaotic frontline moments there constantly daily. Patton's willingness to stand exposed communicated commitment, proving decisions carried personal risk rather than abstract calculation, forward, always present there. Under artillery bursts, Patton spoke plainly, asking practical questions while maintaining calm that steadied nearby troops amid chaos. Today, forward positions. Such behavior normalized fear without surrendering initiative, transforming anxiety into focused action through example there repeatedly under fire conditions. Trust formed quickly when soldiers realized leadership shared mud danger and exhaustion without staged visits nearby, often frontlines daily there. This authenticity reinforced cohesion, ensuring orders felt earned rather than imposed from safety behind desks, ever there historically, elsewhere alone. Patton's leadership under fire countered cynicism, showing rank meant responsibility rather than privilege during combat situations. Always their forward positions. Seeing generals risk lives altered perceptions permanently, embedding loyalty within Third Army culture. Forward lines together, then enduring shared suffering. Leadership visibility reduced rumor, fear, and hesitation, because clarity replaced speculation during fast-moving battles. They're often daily frontline sectors. Trust allowed decentralized initiative, enabling units to act decisively when communication failed suddenly under pressure conditions. Constantly forward there alone. Mud became equalizer, erasing distance between command and consequence under relentless enemy fire. Nearby conditions always present. Their forward lines shared hardship, validated intent, aligning strategy with lived reality across fronts under pressure. Constantly there daily together. Onward campaigns then. Soldiers remembered moments when Patton appeared unannounced, reinforcing belief leadership cared personally enough to be present there, always frontline positions. These encounters spread quickly, shaping morale narratives stronger than official communiques from headquarters ever could, then alone historically there before. Leadership under fire also imposed discipline, because example demanded effort, accountability, and courage from everyone involved there daily, continuously. Together, excuses diminished when commanders shared exposure, making standards believable to soldiers everywhere. Forward lines often under fire conditions there then. This trust translated operationally, reducing friction, delays, and resistance during rapid maneuvers across sectors daily, then forward campaigns there together. Units moved confidently, believing intent aligned with reality on ground there, always present during difficult winter fighting conditions, then widely. Trust forged in mud outlasted battles, sustaining cohesion through exhaustion, losses, and uncertainty for units involved there. Always campaigns then. Such bonds proved decisive when circumstances deteriorated suddenly under enemy pressure. Forward lines often quickly during critical moments there alone. Leadership under fire demanded sacrifice, accepting vulnerability to achieve clarity, trust, and speed across formations. Always there forward together, constantly. Patton embodied this creed, forging loyalty where danger and responsibility met beside soldiers daily under fire conditions. Always there forward. Patton's presence accelerated decisions, because first-hand observation replaced delays inherent within layered reporting chains. During fast-moving combat operations across Europe, commanders adjusted routes immediately, exploiting openings while preventing pauses that enemy forces required to recover cohesion during mobile pursuits continuously. By appearing forward, Patton synchronized intent and execution, reducing friction between plans and terrain realities encountered daily by advancing formations rapidly. This alignment shortened feedback loops, enabling Third Army to sustain tempo despite weather resistance and logistical uncertainty across wide fronts continuously. Presence empowered subordinate initiative, because commanders trusted guidance grounded in shared risk and observed conditions along contested routes forward. Daily units moved faster accordingly, accepting responsibility confidently while anticipating leader support during inevitable complications under fire and pressure constantly there. Patton's visits clarified priorities instantly, shifting resources toward decisive axes without awaiting formal approvals from distant headquarters during pursuits forward. Such agility multiplied speed, allowing Third Army to outpace adversaries reacting through slower hierarchical processes amid fluid operations continuously there. Presence improved logistics indirectly, revealing bottlenecks early and prompting immediate fixes before momentum stalled along supply corridors. Forward daily there, drivers, engineers, and quartermasters responded quickly, because leadership recognized constraints personally rather than abstractly during winter movements across France continuously. Speed through presence also improved intelligence, converting casual remarks into actionable insights within minutes at frontline crossings in towns frequently. These insights guided maneuvers, avoiding strong points and seizing crossings before defenses consolidated across rivers, roads, valleys, swiftly today there forward. Morale gains translated into velocity. Soldiers marched longer, drove farther, and fought harder when leadership appeared nearby under fire conditions. Reduced hesitation, smoothing handoffs, and keeping columns moving through uncertainty amid night marshes rained snow pressure constantly there forward. Patton's presence minimized miscommunication, aligning artillery, air, and armor timing through immediate clarification during engagements unfolding rapidly forward sectors. Daily coordination tightened, producing breakthroughs that paper plans rarely achieved alone without decisive leadership presence nearby, constantly there under fire conditions. Presence discouraged complacency, reminding staffs that movement mattered more than perfect alignment across shifting fronts during pursuit operations. Daily there, speed became cultural, reinforced by examples witnessed rather than slogans circulated within. Third Army formations consistently forward, always there present. Third Army's benefits compounded, as presence-driven speed generated cascading advantages against disoriented opponents across wide operational spaces rapidly. There, enemy reactions lagged, surrender rates rose, and corridors opened without protracted fighting during swift advances throughout France regions. Daily there, presence also tempered risk, enabling timely pauses when exhaustion threatened effectiveness among forward elements operating continuously under pressure there daily. Such judgment preserved momentum overall, preventing breakdowns that squandered gains across extended pursuits with limited reserves available forward there then. Ultimately, speed through presence defined Third Army's character, fusing leadership visibility with operational excellence during demanding campaigns across Europe then. The method proved decisive, showing movement accelerates when leaders share the road beside soldiers under fire and hardship. Daily there, Eisenhower observed Patton's forward presence with professional curiosity, recognizing its effects on tempo, morale, and battlefield clarity across active fronts. The encounter challenged conventional command assumptions, suggesting authority could expand through proximity rather than diminish through perceived loss of control. As Supreme Commander, Eisenhower balanced coalition sensitivities, logistics, and politics while absorbing lessons from Patton's unconventional methods. He recognized that speed achieved by trust and initiative could unlock opportunities unreachable through centralized micromanagement during fluid operations. Maps arriving at headquarters reflected outcomes already decided forward, forcing Eisenhower to reconsider how command influence traveled during rapid campaigns. Patton's approach shifted decision gravity forward, redefining headquarters as enablers rather than directors of battlefield motion. Eisenhower accepted calculated risk, allowing momentum to continue while monitoring potential overextension through strategic oversight rather than tactical interference. This restraint marked leadership maturity, understanding when intervention preserved initiative and when silence amplified effectiveness across fronts. Command redefinition required trust upward and downward, Acknowledging subordinate competence developed through shared exposure and responsibility. Eisenhower's willingness to allow autonomy validated Patton's methods, reinforcing confidence among commanders operating near enemy lines daily. The Supreme Commander observed morale benefits, noting reduced hesitation and faster execution where leadership presence was visible forward. These observations influenced broader command philosophy, encouraging flexibility within rigid structures governing massive coalition forces. Eisenhower balanced admiration with caution, aware that such methods demanded exceptional judgment unavailable universally across commands. Yet, results compelled adaptation as Patton's success reframed debates about speed control and acceptable risk. Headquarters processes evolved, emphasizing responsiveness rather than prescriptive control across dynamic situations. Eisenhower supported adjustments, ensuring supply prioritization and air coordination matched momentum rather than restraining it unnecessarily. Command redefinition also improved inter-army coordination as Patton's movement forced adjacent commands to synchronize faster. Eisenhower facilitated these adjustments, mediating boundaries while preserving overall strategic coherence across Europe. The Supreme Commander recognized leadership diversity. Understanding different personalities generated complementary strengths within unified strategy. Patton's audacity balanced Montgomery's method, together advancing allied objectives through varied operational tempos. Eisenhower's observation validated decentralized initiative as compatible with strategic unity under capable oversight. This realization influenced post-war doctrine, emphasizing mission command principles over rigid control structures. Command redefined meant accepting uncertainty, trusting judgment, and allowing momentum to shape planning rather than reverse. Eisenhower embodied this shift, adapting leadership style to realities Patton revealed forward. The moment crystallized evolution, showing modern command thrived when leaders empowered those closest to consequences. Through observation, Eisenhower learned, refining command philosophy for the remainder of the campaign. Patton's foxhole method treated risk as information, believing exposure revealed truths unavailable through protected observation far behind lines. By entering danger zones, he measured enemy intent, morale, and capability through immediacy rather than delayed analysis. Risk sharpened perception, because sensory detail clarified conditions maps could not capture accurately during fluid combat. Explosions, sound distance, mud depth, and soldier reactions provided data shaping rapid decisions under pressure. Patton accepted personal danger as cost of clarity, judging ignorance more lethal than bullets during fast-moving operations. This calculus prioritized understanding over comfort, aligning leadership behavior with battlefield reality. Foxhole presence reduced uncertainty, transforming chaos into patterns visible only amid noise, fear, and proximity. Such patterns informed maneuver timing, access selection, and resource allocation more effectively than remote estimates. Risk also tested assumptions immediately, exposing flawed intelligence before it hardened into misguided plans. Patton corrected errors swiftly, preventing small misconceptions from cascading into operational failure. Soldiers recognized this courage, interpreting risk acceptance as respect for their experience and danger. That respect encouraged honesty, increasing information flow upward without distortion. Risk as information required restraint, knowing when exposure informed rather than distracted. Patton balanced curiosity with purpose, avoiding unnecessary spectacle while extracting value from proximity. This method shortened learning cycles, compressing observe, decide, act into moments rather than days. Operational tempo benefited, enabling exploitation before adversaries adapted or withdrew. Critics viewed foxhole visits as reckless, misunderstanding informational value gained through shared danger. Results demonstrated effectiveness, as Third Army maintained momentum while minimizing surprise. Risk exposure also disciplined Patton, grounding ambition within practical limits observed firsthand. Seeing exhaustion, supply gaps, and terrain constraints tempered unrealistic expectations. The foxhole method strengthened trust networks because soldiers felt leadership faced identical threats. Shared vulnerability unified ranks, aligning effort across units during stressful operations. Risk-informed strategy, because frontline realities shaped objectives rather than abstract desire. Patton's campaigns reflected this grounding, balancing audacity with situational awareness. Information gained through risk proved decisive, revealing enemy collapse moments before reports confirmed. Such anticipation enabled rapid exploitation, accelerating advances beyond conventional prediction. The method demanded exceptional nerve and judgment, unsuitable for timid leaders or rigid structures. Patton embraced it, leveraging personality and courage to extract battlefield truth. Ultimately, risk as information redefined intelligence. Placing leaders where consequences unfolded. Through foxholes, Patton learned faster, deciding better and moving sooner than opponents. Soldiers remembered encounters not staged. Moments when Patton appeared suddenly beside roads, foxholes, or aid stations without warning or ceremony. Those memories carried weight, because presence under danger communicated commitment more clearly than speeches delivered far behind lines. Loyalty formed through experience, as troops watched leadership share exposure to shellfire, cold exhaustion, and uncertainty alongside them. This shared hardship created bonds, replacing abstract authority with personal credibility earned daily through risk. Many soldiers recalled speaking freely, unaware of Patton's identity, voicing complaints, hopes, and observations without fear of repercussion. Discovering later who listened intensified loyalty, because honesty had preceded hierarchy rather than being demanded by it. Patton's reputation spread informally, through stories traded between units about a muddy officer asking sharp questions near danger. Such stories strengthened cohesion, building trust networks across formations faster than official commendations or directives. Loyalty was reinforced by action. Soldiers saw issues raised addressed quickly through visible changes in supply routes or movement orders. Responsiveness validated belief that voices mattered, encouraging initiative and responsibility across ranks. Troops distinguished between authority imposed and leadership earned, valuing the latter deeply during prolonged hardship. Patton exemplified earned leadership, because risk exposure demonstrated alignment between command decisions and personal consequence. Remembered moments often involved simplicity. Shared cigarettes, brief jokes, or quiet listening amid noise and fear. These human interactions softened rigid hierarchy, making command feel accessible rather than distant. Loyalty manifested operationally. Units pushed harder, endured longer, and adapted faster because trust reduced hesitation. Confidence in leadership translated into momentum, sustaining advances despite fatigue, weather, and resistance. Soldiers recalled Patton's intensity balanced by attentiveness, recognizing both demanded effort yet offered clarity. That clarity fostered respect because expectations felt grounded in reality observed firsthand. Even critics acknowledged loyalty's strength, noting Third Army cohesion during rapid movements and crises. Such cohesion reflected relationships built through presence rather than enforced discipline alone. Memories endured beyond battles. Veterans spoke of feeling seen and understood despite vast organizational scale. This emotional imprint reinforced loyalty long after commands ended and campaigns concluded. Loyalty earned, not ordered, proved resilient, sustaining morale through losses, uncertainty, and relentless pace. Patton's method left an enduring lesson that leadership remembered personally shapes outcomes collectively. Forward leadership translated visibly onto maps, where arrows lengthened daily, reflecting decisions made beside roads, bridges, and foxholes under fire. These cartographic changes represented compressed decision cycles, converting first-hand observations into territorial gains faster than traditional command processes allowed during campaigns. Routes shifted rapidly, as commanders adjusted axes immediately after. Patton identified terrain constraints, enemy weakness, or logistical opportunity nearby sectors. Maps became records of momentum, showing exploitation outrunning predictions and forcing headquarters to recalibrate expectations, repeatedly across multiple operational areas continually. Forward leadership reduced friction points, eliminating pauses caused by miscommunication, incomplete intelligence, and delayed approvals. Across fast-moving battlefield environments, consequences appeared spatially, with corridors opening earlier, enabling follow-on forces to advance without costly fighting along key transportation routes consistently. Captured bridges, towns, and crossings clustered ahead of schedule, illustrating how presence-driven decisions translated into concrete control rapidly forward. The map recorded fewer reversals, because choices reflected realities observed directly rather than assumptions formed within distant headquarters planning rooms earlier. Forward leadership reshaped boundaries between armies, compelling adjacent commands to synchronize faster with Third Army momentum across shared operational fronts. Maps reflected alignment, with seams tightened and handoffs occurring smoothly under shared situational awareness during continuous advances across contested regions together. Results included accelerated encirclements, as enemy units found escape routes closed by swift forward decisions taken amid evolving tactical situations. These effects appeared clearly on operational overlays, marking collapse zones expanding daily across rear areas, communication nodes, supply corridors, enemy sectors. Forward leadership also constrained ambition because observed exhaustion, terrain limits, and supply gaps moderated objectives before overextension. Threatened overall cohesion. Maps thus showed sustainable progress, avoiding sharp salients that invited counterattack against stretched formations operating beyond support coverage during winter operations. Cartography captured trust effects, as units maneuvered confidently, knowing leadership understood their conditions through first-hand observation under fire nearby always. Confidence shortened reaction time, producing decisive arrows advancing before adversaries. Regrouped could reorganize defenses across fragmented commands and disrupted logistics networks. Forward leadership outcomes simplified planning because reality aligned closely with intent articulated earlier by commanders. Operating near decisive points forward, maps required fewer revisions, reflecting stability achieved through adaptive presence and continuous feedback from frontline observations, informing timely course corrections consistently. Consequences extended strategically, enabling faster liberation timelines and compounding pressure across enemy systems already weakened by dislocation. Confusion, attrition, retreat. Maps visualized inevitability, showing momentum converting leadership choices into outcomes across theaters where initiative dominated. Tempo, decision cycles, and operational art. Forward leadership altered metrics of success, prioritizing movement coherence and opportunity exploitation measured across days rather than isolated engagements alone. Maps echoed this shift, emphasizing flow corridors and tempo indicators rather than static phase lines, outdated objectives or attritional benchmarks exclusively. Ultimately, results on the map validated presence, linking human proximity to operational effect across complex campaigns demanding speed, judgment, resilience. Forward leadership left enduring cartographic signatures, legacies traced through lines moving relentlessly ahead amid uncertainty, adversity, risk shared by leaders, soldiers. Patton's legacy in the mud reflected the human cost of command, because presence under fire demanded constant exposure to danger alongside exhausted soldiers across treacherous terrain. Leadership required sacrifice, blending judgment with vulnerability, ensuring momentum and cohesion at the price of personal comfort and safety throughout campaigns. Every mile gained left traces of exhaustion, illness, and fatigue among troops enduring relentless pressure, cold, mud, and supply shortages continuously forward. Commanders and soldiers shared consequences, reinforcing loyalty while reminding all that operational success demanded human endurance as much as strategy. Decision-making carried weight because misjudgments while forward exposed both leadership and units to mortal risk during unpredictable combat conditions continuously under threat. Patton embraced this responsibility fully, demonstrating leadership credibility measured by action rather than title or rank alone on front lines. Soldiers endured long marches, artillery barrages, and inadequate rations, observing their general sharing hardships, which inspired trust yet amplified the physical toll endured collectively daily. Presence in mud and freezing weather exemplified the intersection between authority and empathy, creating bonds unreplicable through distant observation alone. Consistently forward casualties were unavoidable, highlighting that bold leadership and accelerated tempo incurred human cost, even when resulting in operational advantage across enemy territories rapidly. Patton accepted this reality, balancing aggression with tactical awareness to mitigate unnecessary loss while sustaining rapid advance effectively. Historical reflection emphasizes that the Third Army's speed owed not solely to planning but human perseverance, resilience, and courage under relentless operational strain. Continuously. Maps and reports obscure this cost, yet the lived experience of leadership and soldiering demonstrated the profound sacrifice underlying victory continuously across winter campaigns. The mud symbolized shared experience, uniting leaders and soldiers in effort, danger, and exhaustion while reinforcing accountability, commitment, and operational clarity throughout campaigns forward. Patton's philosophy required constant vigilance, discipline, and physical stamina, leaving lasting impressions on every formation exposed to harsh frontline realities daily. Legacy also included psychological endurance, as witnessing leaders confront danger reshaped morale, Initiative and performance across ranks consistently under stress conditions during campaigns. Trust, solidified in adversity, persisted beyond campaigns, informing future doctrinal approaches, emphasizing mission command, presence, and rapid informed decision-making continuously. Command in Mud was instructive, revealing that audacity and leadership are inseparable from personal exposure, physical trial, and awareness of human limits under fire continuously. Patton's methods demonstrated that authority exercised alongside risk cultivated operational velocity, cohesion, and loyalty otherwise unattainable through distant planning alone. The human cost encompassed both visible injury and enduring strain, but rewards included accelerated liberation, morale preservation, and institutionalized understanding of proximity. Based leadership continuously. Historical memory preserves this duality, showing that speed, audacity, and momentum always entail tangible human consequences requiring courage, judgment, and endurance. Ultimately, the legacy in the mud proved that modern command balances decisiveness with vulnerability, initiative with exposure, and achievement with sacrifice, shaping history through lived experience. Patton's career embodied this truth, demonstrating that leadership and human cost are inseparable elements of operational brilliance and enduring remembrance.